So I started sports betting like a month ago on March 28th. So everyone told me, my friends all told me, hey, you're going to get broke. The house always wins. I kept hearing that over and over. And I just decided, you know what? Well, I know my sports. I think I can win. What else am I going to do? I don't know the stock market very well. My money sits in the bank. I get a CD, like 1 or 2%. I'm not going to get much in the CD. The only way to really grow my money is to bet on sports. I know my sports. I feel like I can win something here. I don't want to miss my opportunity not to win. So I started on March 28th. It was just basic bets. I was just learning at the time. There were a lot to learn at the time. I was still learning like all the parlays, and I was learning straight bets, point spreads, money line, all that stuff, all that good stuff. And there's also game props too, like over, unders, all that kind of stuff. So it took some time to learn, like a few days to learn, and there's the live betting. That's the other thing too. Bet live. It's like the game's in the third period or like the seventh inning, and I always bet the under or the over, all depending on certain circumstances, depending on where the game is. Like for example, in hockey, if it's like a 2-1 game, I would bet the over 3.5 because I think there could be an empty netter or the team could tie it. And with baseball, if it's like a 2-1 game in the seventh and the over under is 5.5, I'd take the under, especially when there's good bullpens. If it's a blowout, like a 7-0 game in the fourth inning, and the over/under is like 11 or 14, I'd take the over because there's probably going to be a lot of garbage runs with pitchers who normally don't pitch. So it took some time to learn. So college basketball, I just was learning. Kind of didn't do that well that weekend, but I didn't lose either. I did okay. I mean, Auburn beat Kentucky, but I also lost the Michigan State Duke game. I did okay. It wasn't that bad. I still had to learn, and then Monday and Tuesday, April 1st, April 2nd, I did okay. I won on the Texas Longhorns, beating TCU in the NIT. I know no one watched it, but the only reason why I watched it because I bet on the game. Texas had lost to TCU 2 times this year. They're an underdog. I got a good money line on that, won on that game. But then then the next day, I didn't do very. I kind of lost that money again because the Orioles hit a 3-run home run against the Toronto Blue Jays in the 9th inning to mess with the point spread. That was disappointing. And then it's kind of out of control. That's all I could think about. And then April 5th and April 6th, I got burned by the house again because the UConn woman blew a 9-point lead at Notre Dame. That was disappointing. And the Auburn Tigers fouled a 3-point shooter against the Virginia Cavaliers. They bet on Auburn, and they had the game won, and they somehow lost it. I was really disappointed. Next thing I know, I'm out $400, and I'm like, oh no. At the same time, I still had a quiet confidence about myself. I knew it's okay. Yeah, I've lost, but I know my sports. I know it was just a weird stuff happened in those games. I know if I keep trying, I can win. So Sunday and Monday I had better days. I won $600 on Sunday, another $300 on Monday. Sunday wasn't really one thing. It was just a whole bunch of small bets in baseball. I won a lot of over-unders in that game. And I also won on Notre Dame woman. They lost the game, but they won the game for me because I bet on it was a 2.5-point spread, and they only lost by 1 point, so they covered. So I was happy. And then Monday, Virginia, I thought they'd lose, but DeAndre Hunter hit a 3 in the corner, tied the game. Virginia wins the game in overtime. I won $300 on that game. So then and then I won again the next day. Next thing I know, I'm up $700. I feel good about myself. I feel like I can keep growing my money. And then a crazy thing happened. So it was the day before. It was the playoffs. The NBA playoffs were starting on Saturday. It was April, so it was Tuesday the 9th. The playoffs started on Saturday the 13th. So I bet some hockey games, and I got unlucky on some hockey games. Just the favorites all lost on one day. I think it was Tampa Bay lost to Columbus, and Pittsburgh lost to the Islanders, and the Sharks lost to the Golden Knights, and someone else lost too. But I had the Bruins lost to the Maple Leafs, so I got burned by the house on those hockey games. I don't know hockey that well, but no one really does at all because it's like hard to predict. There could be good goaltending, there could be penalties, there could be empty netters, all that kind of stuff can mess with the spreads. And a lot of these series are going 6 or 7 games, so I don't know for sure who's going to win. Like in hockey this year, the 2 top seeds, the Calgary Flames and the Tampa Bay Lightning, both lost in the first round. So you just never know in hockey and basketball. None of that stuff happens at all in basketball. So I had lost on those games, and then I felt, yeah, I've lost, but it's okay. On Saturday, I'll win. Fortunately, I had really bad luck the first 4 days of the NBA playoffs. So on Saturday, I bet a parlay, and multiple parlays. They all involved the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors, I couldn't believe they lost to the Magic. I was just completely shocked. And then what else? And then the Spurs beat the Nuggets. I was wrong on that game. And the Nets beat the 76ers. I was wrong on that game too. The one positive, though, is that I knew the Raptors and the Sixers would win their series in spite of losing game one. So, and the money lines for those series got smaller. So instead of like being minus 500, it was like minus 300 or minus 200 that I was able to bet. So bet 600 to win 300 instead of betting 600 to win 100. And it was a pretty easy decision to make. So, and then Sunday I did pretty well, although I would have won more if OKC had beaten Portland, and I also had some bad luck on some of the live betting on Sunday too. So I was down about $300 on the Sunday. That was disappointing. Not $300. I didn't lose $300 on Sunday. I mean $300 the whole weekend. That's what I meant to say. And then on Monday, disaster happened. So I bet a parlay on the Sixers and the Warriors to win. I bet 600 to win 300 again. And then the Sixers won easily against the Nets, and the Warriors had a 31-point lead against the Clippers. I went to bed thinking for sure I had the game won. I woke up the next morning. I was shocked the Clippers had won. Next day, I just couldn't believe it. I had lost so much on that game, and I was down a whole bunch. And then the next day, OKC lost to Portland, and the Spurs blew the lead against the Nuggets. Next thing you know, I'm down like $1,500, and I couldn't believe it. At the same time, I knew I still had confidence in myself. I knew I can't give up. I can't get too emotional over a couple bad days because I've won before. I've won like $1,000 in a couple days before. I can get it back, no problem. But I was a little too, I think I was risky on the Celtics-Pacers game. I bet a 3-team parlay, Celtics-Pacers. And then who else? The Bucks and the Rockets. I picked them both to win. They won easily. The Celtics had trouble against the Pacers. I thought they were going to lose. They're down 12 in the fourth quarter. Luckily, Jason Tatum hit a shot from the corner, saved me my money, got $900 back that day, and then I felt much better about myself. Thursday, I bet a parlay. I bet both of the parlays on Thursday. So one of them was the Warriors would cover the 8.5-point spread, and the Sixers would win, and the Spurs would win. By the way, I don't like the point spreads normally, but because normally there's a lot of weird stuff that can happen with fouls at the end of the game. So I normally like to do the money lines because I don't trust some of these favorites to always cover the spreads. So these money lines are better normally, especially if I do parlays. If I'm confident who's going to win the game, I like to do parlays. So unless it's a small point spread, like if it's a 2-point spread, maybe I'll just pick that if I'm really that confident the team will win by more than 2. But if it's like a 15-point spread, I don't know if they're going to cover it or not. But the Warriors, I like the 8-point spread against the Clippers, especially after blowing a 31-point lead the night before. But the more important parlay I bet, and I didn't even think I'd win at the time, but I picked 8 game threes. I picked the Spurs, the Sixers, the Warriors, the Thunder, who else did I pick? I picked the Celtics. I picked the Celtics, Thunder on Friday, and I also picked the Raptors to win on Friday. And then Saturday, I picked the Rockets and the Bucks to win on Saturday. Friday night, I bet some stuff on Friday night, and I was still alive for my 3,800 win on Saturday. And then, so I was winning $1,800 on Thursday, winning another $600 Friday. All of a sudden, I felt good about myself. By the way, the live betting, I bet $50 on every live bet. So if I can get like 4 or 5 of those a day, like win 200 on those, just alone, and I'm even doing better there. Then Saturday, the Bucks won easily against the Pistons, and the Rockets drove me crazy against the Jazz. But James Harden was 0 for 15 to start the game. Luckily, the Houston Rockets won. I won $3,800 in that game, or $3,800 for the 8-team parlay. And there were some underdogs, favorites, road teams. I had to pick all of those, match them all correctly. But the parlays, I bet the small parlays, I bet big parlays. I put my money in different baskets, so I don't put it all in one. I still pick the same teams, but I pick the combination I'm most confident about first. So that way, if I lose the $100 that I bet, I can definitely get it back with all parlays are going to pay more than I'm going to bet if it's a certain amount of teams. Unless it's like only 2 teams. That's the only way a parlay wouldn't. If it's 2 teams who are clear favorites, that's when the parlay wouldn't pay that much. Even the Bucks and the Rockets, were obvious favorites those days. Just betting on that parlay alone would win more than I would bet. So and the Rockets being an underdog, that made me even more confident that I could win my money, because the Rockets dominated the Jazz the first 2 games in the series. I knew they could win the 3rd game, and it wasn't pretty, but they found a way to win. Donovan Mitchell had a wide open 3. Luckily, he missed it. And the Utah Jazz missed a lot of free throws in that game, too. So overall, I've won $6,000, and people tell me not to bet all the time. People tell me I'm going to lose everything, blah, 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 blah. I'm only 20 years old now, and I'm trying. This is a site that I'm 18. It's 18 and over. I'm allowed on the site. So people tell me all the time that I'm going to lose, but I know my sports. I'm risky. I'm fearless and risky. Now I could lose a couple thousand again next couple days, but I don't think so. The Sixers are going to. The Sixers, the Raptors, the Trailblazers, they're going to win. So, anyway, it's just been a crazy couple weeks betting, but I don't care. I'm up $6,000. I'm not even close to being satisfied. You know, I actually had a celebration. Like when I actually had a celebration when I had won on Saturday, but when I won the $3,800 bet on Saturday, parlay on Saturday, but I'm not celebrating it anymore. I'm really not satisfied with winning $6,000. I want to make at least 20 or more thousand this year, and that's another statement. I probably want to make even more. I'm just trying to make. If I can make 8,000 or 9,000 this month, I'll be happy, and I think I can do it. I always have confidence in myself. I'm not betting, and I'm not going to the Mohegan Sun or any kind of casino and just betting random things like colors. I'm betting on games I've watched and teams I've seen for a whole long time. So people can say whatever they want about me. No, a lot of people don't approve of me betting, but that's what I'm going to do, and I'm not losing. I have confidence I'm not going to lose. I've already had my loss, and I know I'll overcome it. It'll happen again. By the way, the first round of the playoffs is the best time to make money because it's obvious who's going to win. Second round of the playoffs, I have to figure that out. The underdogs have better series prices than the favorites, so, but could the favorites, and it's pretty evenly matched too. I need to figure out who to pick. Like, I don't really think the Bucks are that much better than the Celtics, so I think I'd go with the Celtics. The Celtics definitely can beat the Bucks. They did it last year, and they have Kyrie and Hayward back, who, by the way, all the regular season struggles the Celtics are having, those struggles are over now. So, and one other thing about sports betting, I'm kind of cold-blooded. Like, I'm from Boston, and I really don't bet on my favorite teams at all, even though like there's certain teams I don't like at all. Like, I may not like the Rockets or the Warriors. I may not be a fan of them, but that's who I bet on. That's who I'm going to root for them. I'm going to root for them crazy hard. The Patriots. I'm a big Patriots fan, not because I'm from Boston, just because I think they're going to win. So I'm still learning. I'm only a rookie. I'm only a month. I've only been doing it for a month. I've learned so much betting. And one other thing, just don't chase. If I'm having a bad day, yeah, I know I take risks, but it's not good to chase losing. Just wait till the next day. I've actually gotten better recently at pulling back from bets I see. If I don't like them, then I'll probably just pull back from them on some of the live bets. Some bets just don't, I'm not convinced either way. So weird stuff's always going to happen, but like golf, I don't know golf that well. I mean, Tiger Woods won, but there's so many people who could win in golf. I don't really know who's going to win. Basketball, that's the other, the Rockets. I picked the Rockets to win the championship, not because I think they're going to, it was just to bet such a small amount to win such a big amount. That's why I did it. I could bet, I could bet $50 to win $50. Bet on the Warriors, I can win $50. I can bet $50 to win $800 betting on the Rockets. That's why I did it. So the NFL draft, that's another thing too. Like, it's crazy how many things I can bet on. Like, for example, is Kyler Murray gonna cry before he gives Goodell a hug? Like, I bet on that. I said he's not gonna cry. So the odds, and I know what good odds are too. Even minus 200 odds, they're not that bad. Like minus 500 odds, I don't like those too much. But like, if I can get good odds on something, that's when I'm betting on it. Good odds, combination of good odds and confidence something will happen. That's when I'm going to bet on it. So been a crazy roller coaster experience, but betting is what I do, and I'm going to keep doing it, and I'm not going to lose no matter what anyone says.